may have any team, which performs the AV activities, which is your red teaming activity, or something that sort of. Otherwise, there are organizations who will perform like they don't have their own VA team. They'll outsource, to some vendor, and ask them to do this V activity. So let's say, like, I'm working in data communication, so we have our clients. So there are clients who have taken services regarding the firewall or the same SOC. They won't have they might not have their own VA team. They'll just ask the Tata's team to like provide their service for a short duration. Like, let's say they'll perform this V activity once in a while, like once in 6 months or something like that. And yeah, I mean, this is how this vulnerability assessment is uh, taken care of. And if you remember as well, there are three types of uh, you know uh, VA part done. So that is black box testing, gray box testing, white box testing. If you remember, so white, you will have all the knowledge, and he'll know each and everything regarding the uh, organization, or infrastructure, everything. Then there'll be gray box, and then there'll be uh, white box. Sorry, black box. So black box won't have any knowledge. Gray will have somewhat knowledge of that organization, and as well as that, whatever the activities are performed. So the black box tester will performs the majority of high-end attacks. So what we can say, the more sophisticated, or somewhat which any hacker will do when he tries to attack the organization. So such kind of attacks the black box tester will do. So basically, the whole agenda behind this is, to think as an hacker so that you can prevent yourself from the hacker. So, uh, uh, like, whatever you're doing right now, this will be a part of your red teaming activity. So we also discussed it, the blue team and the red team. Blue team will be the defensive one. Red team will be the aggressive one. They'll think like an attacker. They'll perform the test in that same manner, and they'll proactively do this all. So blue team usually is pro reactive. They'll just have their detection systems. They'll have their tools implemented. They'll do the monitoring, and based on any uh, what we can say, based on any alerts or anything, they'll take the action. Red team is proactive. They'll try to find loopholes in the systems, in the network, and that is what here over here it is mentioned that attackers perform VA to identify security loopholes in the target network and end devices. They identify vulnerability are used by attackers to further exploit the target network. And the same thing is done by the, so this is what the attacker will do. The attacker will try to use the vulnerability assessment for his advantage to find any loopholes. Same thing, and VA team will do. So VA researchers has a very important part to play in an organization security from both internal and external threats. To secure any network, an administrator needs to perform patch management, install proper antivirus software, check configuration, solve known issues in any third-party applications, and troubleshoot hardware default configurations. So all these activities together constitute vulnerability assessment. So as I was saying, that whenever the uh, VA team, they'll perform their activities, they'll proactively find the loopholes in the system, check if any vulnerability is present in the devices that they have installed. It may be their FortiGate firewall, it may be their any WAF device, if it may be the any antivirus that they're using, it may be any other application tools that they are using. So such kind of things they are looking for. So all the loopholes are covered. No vulnerable uh, issues are present in your network, and once they identified, they'll instruct the concerned team. So let's say if they find out that any of their server is using any tool that is containing some loophole or something, or in a vulnerability or something which may provide a backdoor for the attacker. So such kind of things is taken care. And he'll inform the administrator or the server owner or whoever it is to let's say um, take necessary actions. It may be patching or upgrading that application, or it may be modifying the configurations. So even like let's say if organization is using any what we can say VPN, which is not SSL, which is not using SSL certificate. So in that case, what they'll ask them to do is to install that SSL certificate, so that it becomes a secure. Whenever you're connecting outside the organization, you should not be connecting, especially a VPN that is not certified, or it does not have any certificate of SSL. So such kind of things as the VA team may find out. And uh, once they find out, they'll ask the concerned team, as I said, to take the necessary actions. It may require patching of devices. So let's say if they found a old version of OS being used in the firewall, so they'll ask the firewall team to immediately patch it, because the previous one may contain any vulnerabilities, and it needs to be upgraded. Or any server that is using old Windows Server OS, so even that they'll ask to uh, uh, patch. So this patching management that is informed by the VA team, as well as the other whatever necessary action needs to be taken, that is all informed by the team. And second thing, these all like we'll see this in the coming slides, but I'm just uh, giving you our overall brief output over here. So this can be done in various what we can say, various parts or various tasks. So one thing is you can use tools. Then there are tools, we'll see a couple of tools over here as well. So this tool will check for the predefined signatures, and then they'll uh, you know uh, do the scanning of the network or the systems, everything, and then they will probably provide you the output with this, that they will provide a report, and they'll say that these vulnerabilities are present, kindly resolve them. They'll also provide the recommendations, remediations for everything, and they'll just ask to perform the necessary actions to patch that vulnerability. So that is done through tools. These are of course paid tools. You may find some of them which are free, but most of them are paid tools. So which is taken by the organization. So it contains Nessus. Nessus is the most what we can say, the famous one, which most of the organizations use. Maximum is used by that. I mean, maximum organizations use the same tool, Nessus. Then there are other tools as well. Nikto is the one that we'll see. Uh, it is present in the Kali. And apart from tools, the VA team will also do the manual one. So they may try to find the try to break any code. They'll try to, if there is web applications. So that is web PT. So web applications penetration testing, that is also they do. So if you have any applications that are hosted for any customer, and I am a VA team, so VA team will take their applications and try to see try to find what you can say loopholes or something like that. They'll try to find vulnerabilities like SQL injection, cross-site scripting. For that, they'll need to the manual what we can say manual testing for that, and based on that as well they'll try to find the vulnerabilities. So we'll see four things in this section. So that is vulnerability assessment concepts, classification and assessment types, vulnerability assessment solution and tools, and vulnerability assessment reports. So, in the vulnerability research process, it is a basically process of analyzing protocol, services, and configuration to discover the vulnerabilities and design flaws that will expose an OS and its applications to exploit, attack, or misuse. So as I told you that, they'll do the analysis of, protocol, services, configuration, and discover vulnerabilities and design flaws, which will, which an attacker might use for his advantage. So they'll, proactively find this and try to block them. An administrator needs vulnerability research for four things. It is to gather information about security trends, newly discovered threats, attack surfaces, attack vectors, and techniques. So, any what we can say, let's say uh, you are a Windows team admin or Linux team admin or any firewall team, and I mean, you are carrying on your work. You have your own work. You have your own day-to-day activities. You have an infrastructure to manage, but you are not the security person in that point of view. So, as a Windows team wouldn't be, of course, a firewall team would be, but a Windows team or Linux team don't, have any much idea of the security part. So they'll know the basic things to carry out, which will, which is needed as a part of your what we can say as a part of your basic Windows security configuration. But if they want to find out about any zero-day attack that is, going on, or they want to know if any particularly attack that is going on, or any security threat that is, in trends. So that is all, found out from the vulnerability research. So vulnerability research will, that will be done by the VA team. So they'll, look for publicly available information. Even you can have that. So there are various. We'll see those as well. So you can just subscribe to those newsletters. So you will get the updates, or daily findings and everything on that in your mail. You just need to subscribe those. So you'll also find lot of information what is going around the world, which uh, if any threat has been detected, or if any attack has been conducted on any of the organization, or any vulnerabilities present on the tool, any tool. So recently, a couple of days back, FortiGate firewall was breached. Their product itself was breached because of some vulnerability, and for which they informed their customer. But uh, as if I am using FortiGate firewall, it is important for me to know about this threat. So this information is provided mostly by the vulnerability research. Of course, if you don't have, since you will be if you're working any part of the cyber security domain, it may be SOC, it may be malware analysis, it may be your firewall team, it may be network, any other any other what we can say domain of the cyber security. uh, it is any which way important for you to be aware of this what we can say trend attacks that are going on, but who is not from the security background and who is not from the security team, as I said, Windows team or a Linux team, for them it is important. Uh, they are not aware about this security things are there. They are not very, they don't have much knowledge about it. So it is expected from a vulnerability research team to provide them this information. Then second thing is to find weakness in the OS applications and alert the network administration before any network attack. So similar to what I said, so this helps to identify weaknesses or loopholes in the network or in the OS to patch them. Then to understand information that help prevent security or problems. So as I said, the Windows team, Linux team, or any other web application team. So they are just aware about the basic, security configuration, but to actually, the advanced type of security configurations and security issues that will be provided, by the vulnerability research team. And as well as, if any attack happens, so how will we recover from that? So that is also provided by the VA team. So an ethical hacker needs to keep up with the most recently discovered vulnerabilities and exploit to stay one step ahead of the attacker through vulnerability research, which includes, so as I said, and even though you're an working for any organization and you're not an actual hacker, it is important for you as well to be on your toes, and you should also be up to date with what is going on, what vulnerabilities are being found, what threats are uh, luring around, and such kind of things. So um, as a part of security person, you should always be up to date what is happening around the world, because if you are an attacker, so you are working in an organization, let's say in any of the what we can say, uh, any of the department, and your own tool gets your own tool gets breached. So let's say, as I said, I was giving example of this FortiGate firewall. You're using this tool in your own organization and you're not aware of this. So in that case, it will be uh, quite an issue that you yourself not aware about this, and you're handling this tool. So at least the tool that you're handling, and all these basic information you should be aware of while working in an organization. So uh, this research will include discovering system design faults and weaknesses that may allow an attacker to compromise the system. Again, the same thing, like we need to find out any loopholes or any weaknesses which will allow the attacker to compromise a system. Then staying up to date about new products and technologies and reading news related to current exploit. So whatever new technologies are getting introduced into the market, that you should be updated out, because like for example, uh, till date, I've been working for around 8 years in security or SIM, which is SOC department. And uh, from 8 years there have been a lot of changes. So initially it was just SIM tool. Then an automation came, which is a SOAR. Then came UBA, which is we will see all this. I'm just giving an example about how new technologies are getting introduced. In very short period of time, and all these are very high-end technologies and high-end products, and uh, uh, this keeps getting introduced. Uh, uh, as a part of security technology, and one should be aware of this, and up to date about this as well. Give me a minute, just give me a minute. Sorry. Yeah, so it is important to stay up to date about the products and technologies that are currently used, and uh, which will help you to prevent attacks or exploits for your organization. Then checking underground hacking websites, dark websites, or you must be aware of this dark websites concept. So uh, that is basically something, uh, where these hackers, kind of gather, and they'll share their insights, and they'll uh, maybe share any codes, or um they'll try to share their knowledge, and share information about the weaknesses in any target organization, something like that. All this they'll try to do, and as an ethical hacker, or as a you know uh, mm, uh, person who is working in security and who wants to secure his network, he can also go and check these websites to find any vulnerabilities or exploits are present, or any information that is being spread, or any new malware that is being introduced. So all this kind of information can also be gathered from these dark websites. Then checking newly released alerts regarding relevant innovations and product improvement for security systems. So whenever a new what we can say, a new patch is being released by for any product, so you should be aware that this patch has come, and this is for patching this vulnerability, or any new alert in the sense, any let's say, any new signature that is present in any of the IPS system, or SIM system, or AV, or something like that. Any new signatures are getting released to catch any particular attack, or any what we can say, information about the um, improvement for the product, and security. So all this is also information, which is necessary to be that should be keep up up to date for an ethical hacker. And yeah, so security experts vulnerability scanner classify vulnerabilities by severity level and the exploit range. So severity level will be low, medium, and high, of course, based on the level of the threat. So if the level is low, if it is medium, or it is high, so these are all classified by the what we can say, the impact of that vulnerability. So if any vulnerability that will have a minimum impact, it will be kept as low. If anyone that is having a medium, maybe it will somewhat cause, but not that much, but it will still cause any impact, so that will be medium. And high severity will be that any big attack will be performed because of that. It may be ransomware, it may be uh, bringing down your whole system, it may be providing backdoor access to your to the attacker, anything that sort of thing. So that um, according to that, their severity level is classified. Exploit range, as you can see, local and remote. So any exploit that is found out into the system, so that is also provided. So if it is locally, if it is exploited locally, then it will be local, and if it is exploited remotely outside the organization, so it is mentioned as remote, which means that uh, an exploit, an vulnerability or an exploit that is present, and which can be exploited within the organization, so that is termed as local, and which is exploited outside the organization, that is over the internet, that is that comes under the range of remote. So as as I told you, these are the resources for the vulnerability research. So you can visit all these magazines, or we can call it as magazine, but it is also kind of a newsletter. So if you go and subscribe to these all what we can say, to these newsletters, you will receive the updated or new threads that are coming, and that are publishing. You will get this up to date, and you will be informed about it on daily basis as well. So it will help you to be ahead of the attacker as well. So it is important that you what we can say, check this and subscribe to this. So SC Magazine is one of the good newsletters. So they'll help you to uh, keep yourself updated, and they'll publish the articles on daily basis. I'll share this slide with you, so you can just visit them, or if you have noted down some, uh, or you want to note it down for now, so you can also check this and note it down, and so you can go ahead and subscribe. These are all free, and there is no charges for this. You can just visit them and subscribe to them. Okay, so what is vulnerability assessment? So it is an in-depth examination of ability of a system or application, including current security procedures and control, to withstand exploitation. So any kind of as I said, finding out any what we can say, loophole, or any exploitations. So it will, it helps to provide an examination. It provides an update. It is an basically examination in the sense analysis of an system or an ability, including us, whatever the current mm, security procedures are there, to what we can say, stand against that exploitation. So basically it scans for the known security weaknesses, recognizes and measures and classifies security vulnerabilities in computer system, network, and communication channel. So the same thing that we went through. So it will scan the whole network, which includes your security devices, your uh, end devices, your any communication channels. So communication channels in the sense your router switches, as well as what protocols you're using. Are there any ports that are vulnerable ports that are open, which may be exploited by an attacker, or that is present uh, on the network, which can be a loophole. So it will search for all this, and provide you with the output. So it identifies, quantifies, and rank possible vulnerabilities to threats in a system. So it will basically, as we know, we set the range and the severity level. So it will rank that vulnerabilities that are present into a system, and it will give a score, and it will mention it if it is a low, medium, or high vulnerability that is present. Additionally, it assists security professional in securing the network by identifying security loopholes or vulnerabilities in the current security mechanism before an attacker can exploit. So yeah, it will obviously provide somewhat uh, uh, better understanding, and it will keep you ahead of an attacker before he exploits. You are the one who are exploiting it only for your what we can say, good use, or securing, like you are exploiting this to make your system more secure. He is exploiting it uh, to do damage to the organization. So a vulnerability assessment may be used to uh, identify weaknesses that could be exploited. Of course, if you're attacker, you will identify these weaknesses and you will exploit it. Otherwise, if you are working as a within the organization as a ethical hacker, will predict the effectiveness of the additional measures in protecting information resources from the attack. So this is all dependent on what your role is. If you're attacker, you will try to find the weaknesses, and uh, you will try to check if any vulnerability is present, and then you will try to exploit it. But as a part of blue team, or not blue team, this is actually red team, but if you're working within our organization, it can also be done same thing to secure the network. So typically, vulnerability scanning tools search network segments for IP-enabled devices and enumerate system, operating system, and applications to identify vulnerability resulting from vendor negligence, system and network administration activities, or day-to-day activities. So it will obviously search for devices which are IP enabled. So devices that are having IPs, so those it will scan, it will identify them, and then it will, as I said, it will find some vulnerabilities which are what we can say somewhat. What do you mean by vendor negligence? Is basically uh, which should be done like a basic configuration is missing. If they have kept default passwords, they haven't changed the default password, or basic configurations which is missing, any applications that are using a code that is not secure, which should be a basic parameters. So that is what vendor negligence is. Not having the basic security configurations, it will help to identify, as well as if any patching needs to be done on that is not patched, if someone is using old version. So all these kind of things, your V8 scanning tool will help you to identify. It will also scan the computer against common vulnerability and exposure, CVE. I'll tell you what exactly the CV is. We'll also check that, and security bulletins provided by the software vendor. So, what are the uh, uh, basic security configurations or bulletins, in the sense news that he has, published uh, on their page, or somewhat, or page, or what we can say, if they're provided into their uh, publishing notes, so something like that, uh, on their blogs. Let's say on the blogs they have published, so it will scan their systems or devices against this CV and the security bulletins. Vulnerability scanners are capable of identifying the following information. So whenever you are doing the VS scan, it will help to identify the following information. So first is the OS that is running on the systems or the devices. As I as I provided the information of the example of the FortiGate. So FortiGate, which is having currently there is one OS that their previous OS is vulnerable, and currently also they are breached. So uh, uh, this VA scan will identify if it is using any old OS. So just remember that any device, so even the firewall has its own OS. The FortiGate, the web application, or the WAF will also have its own OS. So any device, all these security devices, it will have their own OS, and it is important to identify if it is using old OS. It is very important to have your systems patched. Then, as I told you, right, the ports which are listening, uh, this will also help to identify what ports are open in the network, if it is vulnerable, or it is it might be exploited, which is not required. So those ports are open. That is also quite what you can say, dangerous, or which can be easily exploited. So let's say, for example, you have your firewall, and the firewall has their own policies, but you have allowed a particular port for outside organization to be opened, and that is not required, maybe, or if it is required, but it can be exploited by the attacker, because if any port is open and you are allowing it from the internet, so you can usually keep a range for this. So let's say there is a port 4500, and you have allowed that particular port from the internet. Now you can't give, IP range for that. So any IP range that is coming from 4500 from the internet should be will be allowed, and it will be not, it won't be blocked. So I'm just giving an example of that particular port. So attacker may consider blocking, using or exploiting this for its own use, and performing the attack. So this VA basically helps to identify such ports which are in the listening state, which are open, which may be exploited by the attacker, such kind of things. Then third is applications. What if there are any applications which are vulnerable, are installed onto the system, and like let's say tool was there, which is even now it is used, which is C cleaner. So this tool initially was when I was working in Symantec. So initially at that time it was allowed to be installed onto their system. So we had installed it on our system, but later on a vulnerability was found out onto that, and immediately after that the uh, organization asked us to remove this application from all our systems. It was completely blocked. So and to check this is done or not, they used to perform some scanning. So they had to identify that that application is still running onto their uh, on their what we can say, on their computers or end devices. Hence, such kind of things are identified using your VA, I mean the vulnerability assessment. So it identifies the application installed on the system, accounts with weak password. So if you are using any weak password, admin or 123456, so such kind of passwords if you are using. So basically now eventually you have your own security policies and everything, which does not allow you to keep such easy passwords. However, um, if someone is using them, and if some account is allowing it to do so, this VA will identify it, and it will inform that weak password are being used. How will it will do is it will perform basically brute forcing, or it will also perform some dictionary. We'll see those dictionary attack and everything, or it will just scan the SAM file. So SAM file is the one that stores the password. So it will share, or it will scan that particular file, and it will see what type of passwords are present, and if any of it finds out matches this weak password, it will exploit it. It will, the attacker may exploit it. So it will the assessment will inform them that any account is using a weak password. Same with files and folders. If they're using weak permissions, which is accessible to anyone, if proper permissions are not applied, at least to system file folders, it will identify it, and uh, inform it about it. Default services and application that might have to be uninstalled. There are some default services, which are running onto your system. So, or any application that are running onto your system, and that should be ideally removed, or uh, that should not be ideally running, which may provide an backdoor for an attacker. So uh, uh, those also it will identify, and it will ask to uninstall it. Then error in the security configurations of common applications. So it may also identify the error. So as I told you, right, if any applications that is using any so let's say uh, uh, there are some there is some code that is used, and it does not have the basic parameters, which will probably result in exploiting the SQL injection threat. So in that case, the it is important for the for the organization to know about these errors, and this needs to be fixed. So this is done by the VA. Then computer is exposed to known or publicly reported vulnerabilities, and that we already saw. If any vulnerability that is present and that is reported publicly, so this is also that check is also done. So it will have its own checklist, and the system will scan check, the VA tool will check against that particular vulnerabilities, and it will check if that particular system is exploited or not. End of life, end of license, software information, if any tool that is that is having its end of life, end of life in the sense now that is not supported. So any tools or any applications, uh, uh, what we can say, they have their particular lifespan, or time span, and after which they are not supported by the vendor, or they are discontinued. Any product, so even if you take any car or any bike, so even that is you are aware about that in the once it becomes a bit old, they'll first stop the production, and then it will stop their support for that. Similarly, same thing is applied for your devices as well. So if you are using any firewall, or any SIM tool, or any AV tool which is outdated, and that is not in the production right now, so team will that their support team will also stop supporting that particular device if you are not upgraded. Then any missing patches or hotfix, similar to what we said, computers that are exposed to vulnerability, or any like I gave you the example of the again FortiGate firewall. If the old OS is already reported for vulnerabilities and that is not patched, it it is identified in this. Weak security configuration and misconfiguration on disk port, again the same thing. And it also helps to verify the inventory of all devices on the network. So whenever you do the scanning, it is important for the systems or the network administrator to have the inventory of the devices that are present on the network. And once you do that, it kind of identifies and verify your all the inventory that is present with you is up to date, and all the devices are present. So there are two approaches to network vulnerability scanning. First is active, second is passive. In active scanning, the attacker indirectly identifies, interacts with the target network to find vulnerabilities. So it will directly interact with the target to identify vulnerabilities, and it helps in simulating an attack onto the target network to uncover vulnerabilities that can be exploited by the attacker. So it will perform kind of the same, it will kind of if you are, what we can say, from inside the organization, who is trying to protect the organization, he will perform the active scanning and everything, and he will try to identify directly vulnerabilities that is present on the network. And if you're attacker, same he will do. He will just perform the scanning, and it will help him to perform the attack. So um, the process is same, just the motivation is different. An attacker will try to exploit it, and ethical hacker will try to protect it. So, example of this will be an attacker sends probe and specially crafted request to the target host in the network to identify vulnerabilities. In the scanning also we saw, right, the Nmap one. So, the Nmap tool, over there we can send packets which have the particular flags that are set, and these particular flags will help you to identify if any port is open or not. Similarly, Over here also, the attacker will send some specially crafted request, and it will help to identify the vulnerabilities. Second is passive scanning. The attacker tries to find vulnerabilities without directly interacting with the target network. So over here, scanning won't be performed. The attacker identifies vulnerability by information exposed by systems during normal communication. It will identify passive scanning identifies active operating system application ports through the target network monitoring activity to determine its vulnerabilities. It will not directly perform any scanning. It will, try to get information that is exposed by system during normal communication. So it may be, just establish a normal connectivity, and from that it will try to identify it. So it will give a very basic information, and it won't, provide any path for, having any attack. So an attacker guesses the computer system OS application by observing the TCP connection setup and teardown. So he may try to uh, will see the tool varchar, so or TCP dump as well. So he may just try to what we can say establish a normal connectivity with them, and through the packet capturing tool he'll try to identify what kind of OS it is running. So and what kind of port he can connect to and something like that. So he'll just try to uh, observe that and gather information. So this there is a life cycle for this, and it contains the different phases for it, and different what we can say uh, uh, different phases itself we can call it. So uh, uh, it goes through all these phases. So first is identify assets and create a baseline. So in this one, it will identify critical assets, prioritize them, and define the risk management on the criticality and value of each system. So, in any organization, you have your, devices which are of high importance than any other system. So there will be one of their server, or not one, but maybe couple of servers which are, uh, an important asset for you. And uh, I mean, it may be running one of the, highly used application or something like that. Those are known as crown devices. So these crown devices, I mean, these critical systems are called as crown devices. And when in the first phase, when you're creating a baseline, this will help to identify which are those crown devices, and based on that, it will provide any what we can say risk score for that, and based on that attack your or that device, your risk score is also defined. This uh, creates a good baseline for vulnerability management, and it involves gathering information about identified systems to understand the approved ports. So basic what configurations are done over here, it helps you to identify. In the second phase, that is vulnerability scan, all serious uncertainties that are associated with the system are assessed and prioritized, and remediation is planned. So basically, in this phase, your scanning will be performed, and it will identify what kind of vulnerabilities are present, and at what risk level. And it also identifies it determines whether the risk level for a particular asset is high, medium, or low. So as I told you, right, we may identify in the first phase what are your crown devices, and based on that, it will basically determine what kind of risk score is that. If if any vulnerability is found on the crown device, it will maybe it may give the score as high. But if the same vulnerability is found on your other devices, it may consider it medium or low. Post that, in the third phase, remediation is done. So remediation is basically applying fixes on vulnerable systems, and whatever your exploits and vulnerabilities are present, this will you know uh, include applying the fixes. Then your third is sorry, fourth is verification. So whatever activities you have done, whatever the scanning you have done, you have to once again verify if your fixes have been applied and your vulnerability is now not present. And again, to verify this, most of the times again a VA scan is done, and then it will this will check if the vulnerability that was present in the first time, now it is not present. So in this phase, basically verification is done. And the last one is monitor. So organization need to perform regular monitor. So basically once you have done, so let's say your vulnerability was found in one of the server which was using Apache, and Log4j vulnerability was found. You must have heard about this Log4j. It was quite a big vulnerability that was found. So so yeah, so if any of the application found out to be using Log4j, or their exploit their what we can say vulnerable to Log4j, in that case uh, you need to patch it. So you patch it and then you perform and verify and everything is done. Then from the security point of view, on the IPS IDS or on the same part, you will use this tool to monitor if such vulnerabilities are again not found or any new vulnerabilities are found. So monitoring is then the last phase of any VA life cycle. And monitoring is the one we can say that is continuous effort. So this needs to be performed continuously, and as per best practices, all phases of VA must be performed regularly. Many organizations, if they don't have their own VA team, so if you have your VA team, they'll continuously any which way try to see for this. They'll try to have their tools and everything that is running, and they'll try to identify. But if you don't have, it is recommended to at least once in a 6 month. So the solutions that are present, so there are different approaches for vulnerability assessment. First is product based solution versus service based solution. Product based solution are deployed, as I told you, same thing. So product based solution is the one which will they'll have their own product deployed into their network. I gave example of Nessus. So they will deploy Nessus onto their organization, and they'll do the scanning and everything, and uh, it is performed on regularly basis, and it will identify any vulnerability that is present. Otherwise, service based, which will be our third party solutions, which offers security and auditing to the network. So they'll perform all these they'll take service from any vendor, and then it will perform the scanning and everything. Then tree-based assessment versus interface-based assessment. So tree-based assessment is the approach in which auditor follows different strategies for component of an environment. For example, uh, consider organization's network where different machines are live. The auditor may use an approach for Windows-based machine, whereas the other technique. Okay, so basically, these are the different strategies that are involved. So it won't have any particular playbook. So as per the device that it is approaching, it will have that kind of techniques for the particular system. So if it is using any he is doing, I mean the auditor in the sense the VA team, so they may have their approach different for uh, Windows, and it may have different approach for your Linux based. Interface based assessment is another approach to assist depending on the inventory and protocols of an if, for example, if auditor finds out a protocol, so protocol in the sense, let's say if any particular port, or if any particular so we have this UDP and TCP. So if TCP 445 is present, then what ports what services are running on it, what kind of what we can say traffic that is going to and from, and why allowed and everything that is done. So that is this one inference based assessment. So tree based is the one that uses different scenarios for different types of devices, and inference based assessment will use uh, based on the protocols that are present. So the best practice is the one. So the basic steps or the recommended steps for the for carrying out these VAs. Uh, Before starting any vulnerability assessment tool on the network, the administrator must completely should be understand complete functionality of the assessment tool. So it helps the appropriate tools to extract your desired information. So there is a reason, like you have the specialized team for the VA, because we may say that you just need to run a tool. What is so difficult in that? You just need to run the scan button. But however, it is important that the when you're running or scanning the network, or running the tool, he must have the complete information what exactly is trying to do, or what kind of information is trying to get. So uh, this should before performing, the auditor must be aware of this functionality. Make sure your assessment tool will not cause any sort of damage or unavailability of the services that are running. So many a times when we are doing this VA, so basically we are as I told you, it is similar to what anyone is doing as a part of VA. So when you're doing as a part of VA, you are basically uh, doing a kind of attack onto your system, and um, uh, so when you're doing that, we should be aware that tool is not doing anything that will cause unavailability of the server. So it may cause damage, or sort of exploit a bit too much. So such kind of thing needs to be taken care of. Then you should be sure about the source location of scan to reduce the focus area. So you may have a big big inventory, or big network organization. So it may have 10,000 devices. So if you decide to focus on all the 10,000 devices, it will be very difficult. So it is important that you target any particular uh, set of devices to reduce the focus area. Then last is run scan frequently for vulnerabilities. So we discussed this common vulnerability scoring systems. So these are basically the security levels and their risk score based on it. So this common vulnerability scoring system provides a way to capture the principal characteristics of vulnerability and produce a numerical score reflecting its severity. Basically, a score which will define its security level. So 0.1 to 3.9 will be a low. 4.0 to 6.9 will be a medium. 7.9 to 8.9, 7.0 to 8.9 will be a high, and 9 to 10 will be a critical. So this CV that we discussed, so common vulnerability and exposure, is another platform that can help you to identify about vulnerabilities. So whenever your vulnerabilities are found, the CV will maintain this list of vulnerabilities. Along with that, it will associate with that vulnerability and unique identification number. So I'll show you how it is done. Okay, so this is your CV. Okay, uh, you can just search based on that. I'll show you. So now let's say if you want to search for port 139, check any vulnerabilities are present on that. So see over here, this is the uh, identifier that I was talking about. See, identification number. This is your CV identification number, and this was published in 2005 and updated on 2017. It will provide description. Okay. So Windows 2000 allows remote attackers to cause a denial of service by sending flood of empty TCP/IP with ACK and ping bit sent to NetBIOS port, which is 139. So, this old version of Windows 10 2000 used to allow this kind of attack to be performed. So, you have these all links and everything, and references as well. So, basically, what the motive over here is, whenever vulnerability is identified, it will it will be published with a unique identifier number, and all your information will be present over here. Either you should be aware of the ID number that is present, or you can just search for any particular port, or anything that are looking for. You can use keywords, and based on that keywords, it will basically provide you. Let's say 40 get. Okay, let's see if we find anything that it is there. So this is the latest one. Okay, vulnerability 40 Mac. Okay, allow remote and other to ban in the middle attack. So we won't get into the details. I'm just uh, showing you how once a vulnerability is present, a CV number is associated with that, and based on that you can search for this, and check for these vulnerabilities that are present. So whenever you're doing any kind of scanning, it will return, if any vulnerability is written, it will provide you with the identification number. Okay, so these are the vulnerability tools that are present. uh, so I told you, right, Nessus is one of the most common ones. Then there is OpenVAS, Nexpose, Retina, GFI, LANguard, Qualys FreeScan. So these are the few of the tools which performs your, what we can say, your vulnerability scanning, and it will provide you uh, with the reports and everything. So we'll see a couple of tools for this. One we'll see that on the Kali, another one we'll see on the Windows, which is our normal scanning tool. Obviously we don't have that much of details, as I told you that we are having just only one system, but we'll just at least get the overview of it. So just let me stop my sharing. I'll power up my Linux, show you both the tools. By the way, guys, have you installed Kali yet or not? No one? Just hold on, give me a minute. One application is taking time to run, but it has started. So till then, we'll see this one. So this is your Nikto tool. Now over here, what we have to do is basically uh, provide the command Nikto -h and your target. So now, obviously, it won't have much of the information, but uh, some of the information he has given, that is anti-click jacking. It is one kind of attack. It is not present. So click jacking is something, which blocks your pop-up. So whenever you're browsing sites and everything, there is basically pop-ups that come, and those pop-ups are mostly your attacks that are present. And if you click one of them, it will basically download any virus onto your system. So for that, anti-click jacking is one of the tool that should be enabled actually onto your browser. Over here, it is not present. Then one of the other vulnerabilities that he has found is uh, root page redirects to index HTML. Then no CGI directory is found. Okay, he's saying force check for all possibility directories. Okay. Content type option header is not set. This will allow user agent to render content of the site different from meme type. So it has also, given, see, he has given the path as well. So if you want to and go check out which kind of vulnerability that he is talking about, you can just copy that. Not sure if it is copied or not. So you can see the severity level is low, the one that I told you. So uh, it has, what the details. So content type header and what can be kind of the attack that can be performed by the attacker. It says it can carry out cross-site scripting attack by manipulating the content. So this is how you can, just do the complete scanning. You have complete tools. There are paid tools and everything, which will help you to identify. So this is also one of the tool, which is an AppSec tool. It may be, performing web application security. Yeah. So any your web application tools, it will do the scanning for that, and it will basically help you to uh, identify those vulnerabilities. Second is this manage engine vulnerability manage manager. So this is how the tool is present. Now it is complete. It is giving me information about my this particular system. It is also showing me security news. So Google fixes several high vulnerabilities in Chrome. So these are all latest one. See, September 12th, September 11th. Then what are the vulnerabilities over the time that is found onto my system. So whenever you this kind of tools that you deploy onto your network or onto your server or server, basically onto your organization network, they'll provide you with this information. They'll perform the scanning and everything, and they'll check if any vulnerability is found out or not. Over here they've given me two alerts, no credentials, so I haven't provided any password for my system, and that they have identified. So they're asking me to kindly update the password. So I haven't said any password, so that is why one alert they have provided me. Then second is mail server not configured. So the same thing, it is provided over here as well. Actually, the content type is not set. So actually the uh, vulnerability that they have shown me is the same. Mail server is not configured. So you can just by them they are saying this is all different because you don't have any particularly you will need to have the uh, uh, endpoint central, this installed and everything. So uh, space is also less, I guess. So yeah, uh, but you can do this, everything will be there. Other informational things they have provided, that this patch has been will be will be released, and you can check on that and everything. So this information that they have already provided, what else you can do and everything, but the alerts are there. If you go, you can check the alerts, but currently it is showing some problem. Not sure, something is not right. Anyway, so I'll have to check why this is happening. Uh, but yeah, you must have got the idea of it. So this is how it works. So you have to do all the scanning. Uh, and we know this is where your, if the tool is deployed, then yes, it is having some space issue. Okay, I'll clean up the space, probably it will show me. So yeah, whenever a tool is deployed, it will show all these kind of details, and if you have to do the scanning and everything, such tools are there. Nikto, so Nessus is the same tool, what we saw over here. That is the same tool that is present. the Nessus is also there. Just that Nessus is a bit, good on the interface, and it performs, the scanning in bit of deep level. So that is, just a famous tool right now. Uh, yeah. So that is it. Any questions from your end? Yes, you can ask, or just have any doubts or anything. Have you performed at least, anything on the previous lectures, what we have seen till date?
Yes, sir.
What all did you do? Like, you must have done the Nmap scanning and everything, but other tools have you explored? Did you have any difficulties, any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, just one guy performed. So, you need to, perform this tools and everything. It will be helpful for you, not only during these exams and everything, but also for the interview part. So don't just, attend the lectures and, forget it. Try to perform it as well. Fine, then let's conclude. We'll see
Okay,
tomorrow.
sir.
Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.